Are we good now? The poll is up. Yes, so vote for the poll. No sound? We're good now. Okay, all right. So I had a big problem this morning. I installed a new update on OBS. Dumb idea. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to install the new update for ATEM multi-stream. And then that totally just blew up my whole OBS. I had to uninstall it and kind of reset up everything again. And so I've been kind of running around trying to get that going. And so I'm lucky that I'm even on right now. Now we're buffering. No, we're not buffering. Everything looks great. There's no issues. There's no buffering going on. What are you talking about? Nothing to see here. So how's everyone doing? We have a few systems inside of our queue right now. I just kind of scrambled real quick and just grabbed a few that we hadn't even looked at yet, so I don't even know exactly, if they are bad motherboards or what. I was just kind of reading the notes. I'm kind of caught up. You have two voices. Two voices. No. Everything seems to be all right, right? So you want this shirt. I'll have to try to put the shirt back up again. It got taken down because I named it, what I name it? Alienware. I named it that, and then they copyrighted it and took it down. But the name of the file is what I named it as that. So I just need to change it to actually Alien Expert, and then I can put it back up there. So did everyone see my video yesterday about the exploded motherboard? I had to dig through the pile of motherboards and I found it because a lot of people were asking. They wanted to actually look at the board, so I actually have it here, so we can take a look at that. Are we getting other people that are saying that there's some sort of multiple voices or something like that? Is the audio good? I think the audio should be good. Twitch is good. Okay, thank you, Gritty. Okay, well, I'm just going to proceed like everything's good. So here's the board right here. I went and dug through my pile and found it. That video I filmed, I don't know, a couple months ago or something. I'm still, like I said, I have like a huge backlog of videos I'm still kind of trudging through. And so that one was an older video. And so I was like, okay, well, let's see. And so just for the verdict, the customer ended up replacing the board. I had a board in stock. I installed it, and they're happy. And I haven't heard from them a couple months. So, but here's the board. We can actually look at it. Some people wanted me to actually just plug it in and see what it did. Like, well, I don't know about that. And what was interesting, and if you haven't seen the video, it's the most recent one that's posted on the channel. And it's this board had the smell. It actually doesn't smell that bad anymore, but it was really bad. Like, it was just like the smelled like burnt electronics just coming out of the laptop before I even opened it. So yeah, the good old Texas barbecue. Crazy barbecue. So so we can mess around with this if we want a little bit. We had the votes up for Twitch and YouTube, and just go ahead and put your votes up there. Hey, thanks for the Prime sub. Let me see if I can get the Twitch poll up there on the screen. I don't know if that's going to work anymore. I have to select it again. Give me a second. I like trying to display it on the screen, but I have an issue trying to get it the right window to cast to. So it take me a second here to get it going. Which one is it? YouTube poll. Which window is it? Oh, I know what's going on. Never mind. I'll just refresh the screen here. Anyway, sorry. I'm just trying to do multiple things at the same time. You know how that goes. But I have a couple things that people have sent in to me, and I wanted to show that off too. And so that's the other thing I wanted to try to show off at the same time. Is the battery charging? You're talking about this machine? I'm not going to plug in the battery on this thing. If you notice something behind me here, let me take down that pole. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. You see this alien head here? It actually changes color. You can put it in different colors. This was actually sent in by one of our my subscribers here. He said he had gotten 4 of these in the past. Let me get his name real quick. It was sent in by P. Johnson. Yeah, so he said he got 4 of these in the past as like a promo for Alienware back in the day, and so this was, I guess they were sending them out to the people. Hey, Mark, thanks for the donation. And so I thought it was pretty neat. I'm just going to put it back here in the back of the stream here. I have it running on batteries. It does plug in USB, but that's why I'm going to run it. The other thing I got sent to me was this. Should have had all this stuff pulled out. You guys know how much I love honey for my coffee, which my coffee, I need to pull it over here. Look what this is. Look at this. Nate's Natural Honey. So apparently they named some honey after me. So I got that sent in now, so I have some more honey for my coffee. That was sent in by Montgomery, one of my, I guess, oldest customers. He worked on, he was purchasing parts from me back in 2003 for his Inspiron 5000E. So he's usually in the chat every single week, so if you see him in there. So thanks for that, Montgomery. Let me see if I can get through this chat a little bit. Hey, David, $50 donation. That was very generous. Thank you so much. That 15R4 I noticed, let me see if I can pull it up better for me to read here. That 15R4 last Wednesday that booted okay, and the next morning I noticed that the donation discount on my invoice wanted to pay it forward and arrived. It worked great. Hey, well, thank you so much. Runner Dad donated $50 back to pay it forward to the next person. So I appreciate that, Runner Dad. That's awesome. Yeah, what I usually do is I just put it on the ticket, and it makes a discount off of the repair. So anybody who has a repair during the stream gets a discount. So that's great to hear. Who doesn't put flux in their coffee? That's what I said. Let me go through some of these, the poll here, and see. Let me see if this thing's working yet. Nope. So right now we have 59% of the people saying the M16R1, and that's going to be on YouTube. And then it looks like 56% is the 9360 on Twitch. So that would be the second place. Montgomery is out of the country right now. We'll let them know. That's awesome. Yeah, so if you guys are wanting to vote on the M16R1 is a 3.5 error most likely, and so that's probably gonna be a pretty fast one. I've seen so many of those, and so it's probably something we're going to fix pretty quickly. The 9360 are my nemesis machines, so I always have a hard time fixing those. So if you want to see me struggle, maybe pick that one. 9500s, I've fixed plenty of those. So if it's just a USB port that's physical, we can change one of those out pretty quickly. There's 3 slots on there, or 3 sockets. So I don't know which one we want to try. Bourbon and honey sounds good. Do an old fashioned with honey. That sounds good. I like that. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back through the chat a little bit. I go back and I watch my streams to kind of figure out like how can I improve. Well, one of the things I'm noticing the most is that it's hard for me to read all these chats. It's hard, and I just kind of pick something and I kind of ramble on for a while and come back to it. So if I don't answer your question or your whatever you're asking or whatever, you can post it periodically, and hopefully will catch it. I try to do the best I can because I'm having to multitask. Do you use rosin powder when finding shorts? I've used that. Actually, I bought that. The little what is it? What does he call it? The Northridge Fix thing, where it puts the little powder on there or whatever. Atomizer, is that what it is? Anyway, I bought that thing. Never even opened it because I've never really needed it. I don't know. There's not a time where I've been like, I can't tell which component it is. I've never had that issue. So it's mainly like, you use the thermal camera to get you close, and then I use alcohol to get me right on it. We do have the new thermal camera here, which the new thermal camera has better detail close up, but then John just gave another donation of $20. I have a bourbon button. Actually, there's a link inside the video description. I added that in there, John. I don't really know how to put it anywhere else, but I do have a buy me a bourbon button on Twitch and on YouTube inside of the video description, based on your recommendation, obviously. I don't know what I was doing. Oh yeah, so we do have the new thermal camera. Let's actually, because last week we didn't talk about this, so we have, whoever wasn't here last week, or last stream, I guess. Here's my old thermal camera, which I still like it. I mean, I don't, I was trying to get something better, but this thing has two cameras on it. One's an infrared camera, one's a regular camera, and then it superposes the images on it. So when you're looking at this motherboard, for instance, you would have the shape of the motherboard. You could actually see kind of the details, and then you would see where it's getting hot. This other one has some sort of like AI stuff or something that's supposed to make it where it kind of pops out better, but I don't know. It doesn't seem better than me. Let me plug it in, and I want to see if we can switch back and forth between the two. You know, I think maybe this new one's more sensitive. See, I have it bolted to the bottom right here. I think it's possibly more sensitive, but I don't know if it's better. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being kind of an old man saying, oh, well, back in my day, this older one I really liked. So let me restart the app here. I should have got all this set up. Remember, I was scrambling at the last second, so I don't have half my things set up like I normally would and just ready to go. And plus, it's Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I'm kind of moseying in here. Okay, so is this turning on now? Thermal camera, where are you at? It's that button right there. All right, so here's the new thermal camera. I know some people say they like it. Some people say they don't. So we're looking at the motherboard right now. Let me see make sure it's in focus. But I can't really see any detail, right? Okay, so there you go. So you can kind of see the motherboard's detail a little bit. You see that? Now, if I kind of put my hands above and around, I can try to get some reflectivity. Oh, that doesn't even work. It's like hard to tell. I mean, you could tell something's heating up. The middle part here is the ring light that's reflecting, but all right, so let me plug in the other one. Let's see if we can get it where it goes side by side. I don't know if it's just going to automatically sync up and work again, so let me unplug this. And the setting is not working. I'm going to plug in my other one. See what happens. See if it automatically launches the app. So here's the FLIR 1 Pro. And they're about the same price. I mean, the FLIR 1 Pro, I think I paid almost $400 for it, or $350. And then this other one I paid $300 for it, US, by the way. But the FLIR 1 has a lot of reflections. That was the other thing that really drove me crazy. So maybe that's supposed to make it better because there's not as many reflections. Here, let's see if I can mount this like back up here. I might have to hold it here. And sometimes it's hard to get this darn thing to sync again. Okay, there we go. So here's my old one. You see how you can actually see the motherboard's outline? Like, I feel like I'm spoiled, right? And the reason why that's going on is we have two cameras on here, like I said. So if we go to just the regular camera, so here's the regular camera on here. You know, it's a little slower, obviously. And then here's just the IR. So if we're looking at just the IR, you can barely tell what's going on. But then if you put them both together, you get the superimposed view, and it crashed. Did it, or did it turn off? I ran out of batteries. The other thing is that this FLIR 1 Pro actually needs power and charges up its own battery in here. So I have another power cord running over here. Let me plug it back in. Put the poll up to see. Let me see if I can get the poll going. Okay, so it looks like 53%. Here, I'll show you what I have up there. I'll have to go back to this view real quick while we're pulling up the poll. So we have Twitch was at 53%, 35%. So 9361 on Twitch. And then on YouTube, the poll ended at, let's see, 60%. The highest percentage was the 16R1, so we're going to do that one first. And then the second highest percentage was the 9360, so we'll do that one second. All right? Sounds good. So we got that decided. Let me go back to here, try to get this working again. All right. Is it going to work? Sometimes you have to kill the app. Now, the one thing I do have a problem with this FLIR is the app is kind of crappy. It kind of crashes sometimes, or I can't get it to connect to the device very well. So I have to kill it and reopen it. Okay, so my old one, I think, is more usable in general. I think it's booting up. Okay, here we go. It's coming back up. Oh, yeah, see, the battery was dead. You can see that there's a battery meter on there. It's at 2%. All right, but anyway, yeah, look at that. You could see all the outlines of everything. on here. So, I mean, I like that look better. It just seems better to me, right? Now, it's a little slower to respond. And here, if we put it in split mode, let's see, I think it's this mode. Can you see both? So if I look at the CPU side, let me focus my microscope. See that? I have to hold. I'm holding the One Pro because it's not mounted on here. But anyway, all right. Now we'll switch back to the other one again. All right. I'm just trying to do side by side just so people can really let me know what they prefer. So now we're switching back to the new one. And I still have time to return it. So here's the new one. So it's definitely faster. You see how much faster it is? And you can see that the ring lights in the middle reflecting. So we don't have a lot of reflections, but I can't really see the board. Now, if I held the board up higher and then focused it, it definitely has a lot more precision here in this range. So like if I was in this, like this close, then maybe I might have better detail. But anyway, so I don't know. What do you think about that? Probably should put up a vote on that. Should I return the new thermal camera and just keep my old one, right? That's what I want to know. I'm actually, I think I want to keep this one. Like I bought this is the P3 Pro, so it's right here. It's still in the box. All the stuff's still in here. I just pulled the camera out. So this is the P3 by Thermal Master, $300. And then they had the P2. I returned that one already. I bought that one for like a couple days. Turn off the microscope light. You want to see what it does with the microscope light off. Okay. Microscope light off. Still off. It's off right now. See, because the thing is that it's about these reflections, these thermal reflections. So like the light is off, it's not even on. Now I'm going to turn the light on. Did you even see it change? It didn't matter if the light was on or off. Isn't that crazy? So it's basically like if I put my hands in a circle around this, then it's doing, here I'll put it in this widescreen so you can see. No, it's this view. There we go. All right, so right here it's off. And then I'm doing this. I just put my hands kind of around it, and then the thermal reflection is what's making it do that. So you can see when my hands go around it like that. Weird, right? Weird. I don't know. So it's not. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's infrared light. You don't see it. I know, right? That's what IR is, right? It's a higher spectrum. So we only go up into the 630 nanometers or something like that for our eyes. P2 Pro has a micro lens. Well, this one has a focuser that gets you the micro lens, which is fine. The thing is I don't use it in a handheld format. And so maybe if I kept it off to the side for a handheld, but I do have a handheld one right here. And this is one of those thermal seeks that are really cheap. And so this is one I use, and I put a macro lens on it. I just bought a lens and then 3D printed a cover. So this little thermal seek is super like gritty or whatever, but I can put it on my camera, on my phone, and just kind of, you know, go around on it if I need to. And so I already have one of these. I don't need to pay $300 to have a second thermal camera that I would, you know, do that for. Again, I just used alcohol, so maybe I'm just old school like that. What's your opinion on lower temp to help avoid reflections? If there's an option, yeah, that's true. Well, you know, I think this camera's more sensitive actually, so you can see things light up a little with less, you know, heat, so it doesn't need as much current to go through it. So that's actually a good thing about that. Send it back. Yep, send it back. That's what I'm thinking. Let's take a look at this board real quick. You guys love that. And then we will move on to our repair. Yeah. So let me get under the microscope. I want to show you this board. And then people wanted me to compare the board to a regular board that's not damaged. So here's what it looked like in the video. I didn't even mess with it anymore because it was just kind of like a lost cause. But you can see that, and the video didn't even show justice, but there's a bulge here. So you see that chip's like actually lifting up like it's floating. And so inside the layers, it's bulging, and this thing was actually desoldering itself and starting to float away. There you go, I just ripped it off with my fingernail. And you can see the layers underneath that. Where's my thingy? Tweezers. Yeah, so you can see that stuff is lifting up. Here's a trace that's hot floating trace. But this I don't think was the main area, but yeah, this area right here is like really high up. I wish you could tell. I mean, I could tell. Can you kind of tell? Can you see? See how that's kind of lifted up there? Cut it, drill it, make it so. All right, maybe. I mean, if we want to do that this morning, we can. And then this is the area I think it actually caused all the damage in the first place. This chip exploded also. And this is bulgy. Should we do the Soldering, where we just kind of dig a hole in it? Get my dentist drill out. Here, let me get my alcohol. Let me get my bourbon here. It's not repairable. It's not worth it. We're just messing around for fun. There's no way to repair this. This isn't my donor board pile. Oh, I just released the smell again by heating it up. Oh, gosh. Oh. Yeah, so you can see that this hole, it's just like a char hole all the way down there. And then this side is just, all that stuff's hot. So, and then even these vias right here got pretty charred up. If I can focus on it. Look at those vias. Let's see. Oh, I don't even have my my polarizer on here. Let's see if the polarizer. Go polarize. That did not make it better. That made it darker. It's like putting sunglasses on it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this thing's effed up. It's done. Yeah, it's all bulgy here too. So that's why I didn't even proceed on it. I guess I could have shown replacing the motherboard, but to me that's like boring or anticlimactic. But okay, so that is a donor board actually. Oops, just pulled a drawer out and dumped it everywhere. I usually mark these so I know that it's not repairable and I can steal parts off of it. Okay, let's pull that first repair and get that going, because it's Sunday morning. I'm tired. I got stuff to do. All right, so again, we had the M16R1 had the highest percentage vote on YouTube, and then the second highest percentage, so M16R1 had 60%, and then the second highest percentage was the 9360 on Twitch, and so that's gonna be the second one, okay? I just go with the highest percentage. It's the best way for me to kind of figure out the vote on that, so anyway. New day, new laptop to repair, and this time we have an Alienware M16R1. This one came in with a 3.5 error code. It just shut off and it doesn't turn on anymore. So let's take a look at this together and see if we can get this figured out. All right, so let's hit the power button, see if it does anything. A lot of times what happens on these things, I hate to jump the gun on this because it could just be the same issue, but I fixed 3 of these in one day, one time. 3 in one day, the same issue, all 3 of them, same model. It was all the same thing. It's crazy. So what happens on these is we get a 3.5 error, power rail missing error. And what it is actually on the 5-volt power rail that powers the DDR5 memory. One of the capacitors, which there's a set of 4, set of 4, set of 4, and then a set of 3, one of those capacitors shorts out or cracks and then shorts out. So I'm assuming there's a lot of heat in that area, and so they end up failing. And so it's always a different capacitor, but it's always one of those capacitors. And so I literally just open the bottom, I'll measure this one coil. I don't even have to take the board out for this too. And then you just measure the coil and you're like, there it is, and then you change it out. So right now we're not getting any power. Now, because it's on a lower power rail, this isn't going to short the AC adapter. Where's my power meter at? Right there. Okay. So keep it out of the power meter. We're going to plug it in, see what it does. So this jumped up to 0.46, 0.84. Is it turning on? Okay. In general, that's not the same symptom, so we might have something different. That might be more exciting, I got to tell you. Okay, I'm kind of excited now. Whew. All right, so it shouldn't be pulling that many amps or that much current. So we'll let it sit here. We'll see if we get our 3.5 error, and then we'll open it up and kind of figure it out. So I doubt the CPU shot. I've never seen the CPU fail on this machine. This machine has really good cooling. This also has liquid metal, so I mean, it could be a liquid metal leak, but I've never seen liquid metal leak on this machine in particular. It's usually the X series that have the leaking, the LLM situation. So, but a cap, it could definitely be a cap. So I'm gonna wait till oh, there it is. It's going. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's our 3.5 error. If you looked it up on Dell's website, I'll just type in M16R1 light codes on Google, and then it will take me right to it. Now there's like AI answers telling me, which I just ignore the AI answers. You have to go into the Dell site, but 3.5 just stands for power rail failure, which just means that one of the power rails are missing. It could be any power rail. It's not very particular. It doesn't tell you crap, so it's not super helpful, but it is telling you that something's not working right. So let's open up the bottom and take a closer look. Ooh, these screws are kind of stripped. Well, I could tell somebody's opened them. They're not super stripped, but I can tell that they are marred for sure. I don't know, does a 3.5 always mean a 3 or 5 volt power rail missing? I don't think it does, because I've seen it be a memory power rail. This is a memory, but this is a 5 volt memory power rail because it's DDR5. And then I've also seen it be the SSD power rail, which is a separate one, but it's not the main 3 and 5. So maybe it could just be one of the 3 and 5s that are powering something else. It doesn't really point to it, what it is, so. This is my same screw bucket I always had, but I just put a sticker in it. I figured out, I was like, oh wait, my stickers are the same size as my screw bucket. So I was like, okay, I'll just put a sticker in it. And I don't know, just adds a little something. All right, the question is, can I get this bottom off in a timely manner? Because these are a pain to get off too. You're curious to see the method of finding the issue. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to go straight to this one power rail, but if not, then we're going to go around and just kind of figure out if we do have a shorted power rail somewhere. Since we are pulling current, we can actually use a thermal camera sometimes to figure out what power rail is trying to come on. We're not getting any pulsing current, so it's not going to be like it's trying to turn on one and it keeps turning off. But sometimes you can see a chip getting hot. Now, if you had a missing power rail and you had low current or no current being pulled, then that's when it's a little bit harder. Get out of here, screws. All right, and the bottom is off. All right, we'll take a quick look around. So we have the main battery here, Dell OEM. You can see the serial number there. A pair of, looks like DDR5 memory. It is crucial. And the NVMe slot is not populated. This one actually will take 4 NVMe's, some 2230s and some 2280s. This one has 2 fans on the CPU, 1 on the GPU, and then 1 on the memory itself. Now, this is the power rail that's in question, that we always have issues on this machine. And I'm actually in the process of trying to develop a fix for this because it's going to be one of these capacitors in this area that go out if this is the one that's shorted. And so my fix would be to actually drill a porthole through the back of this fan here and then 3D print a shroud that hooks over here and kind of screws into this NVMe slot. So you're kind of still an NVMe slot, but it would force the air over this area. So that's kind of my idea. The other workaround may be to actually use this fan and kind of build a ducking system that sends some air over here. But because it's only blowing air on this one stick, it's not blowing air on this other stick. So it's kind of a weird design. It's good that it has it, but it's just kind of strange that it doesn't seem to be, you know, super effective. So the first thing we want to do is we want to unplug the battery before we start doing any type of measuring. I'm going to go straight to this power rail because it's always shorted. And it's going to be anticlimactic, I can tell you right now, if it is shorted. All right, so is my meter working? It is. Let's get under the microscope and take a closer look. So here's the coil that we're going to be measuring. I'm just going to take the sticker off here. It looks like we have anything weird going on over here? No, it looks okay. That's just like a marker almost. But you don't see, I don't see anything obvious, and I never do. But the capacitors that have an issue are going to be these right here. So you have this, these, or these. Okay, it's never the big ones. It's never the small ones. It's always this size right here. Okay, very strange, right? All right, so all I have to do is just put the meter in continuity mode, and I can measure this coil, and it will either tell me if we're shorted or not. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's shorted. I found the issue. Dun, dun, dun. But I have seen memory be shorted before on this model too, so I'm just going to take the memory out and make sure that's not the memory that's actually shorted. And try it again. It's the memory! Wow, look at that. So, one of these sticks of memory are bad. Which one is it? That's pretty crazy, right? So we already fixed this without even having to do anything. And it's all because I tested that. So like if I would have started injecting voltage, I would have injected it into one of these. So I'm going to plug in just one of them, and then we're going to measure again. Okay, it's shorted, so I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to put this other one in. And it's not shorted. Okay? Now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to put the one that we think is bad, and I'm going to put it in the other slot just to verify. There you go. So now we will keep this bad stick of memory out of here. I will throw it that way. Now I don't know if he bought this stuff with it or if he just added it later or what. And so now we just have that one stick of memory in there. And let's see if Bob's your uncle. Let's see if we have an easy burrito this morning. Easy breakfast taco. Well, I see 2.89 amps being pulled now, which is a lot more. And the startup on this one is usually pulls around 60 watts and kind of sits there for a few minutes. You've seen this thing take about 5 minutes, so we're going to sit here and have a conversation, and then we will end up getting that Alienware screen in mere moments. And this one's saved. And I don't even have to charge them a whole repair fee or anything. It's just a diag fee and sell them a stick of memory. The end. This Crucial is, I think it's, let me look. Is it OEM? It's not OEM, but Dell could have used this in here. Sometimes they don't put their Dell part numbers on here. And I've seen all sorts of different memory in these machines, but I'm assuming they probably bought an upgrade kit. So I don't know. And so I'll talk to the customer. Maybe they bought them from Amazon, then maybe he can still return this. Maybe he can contact Crucial. Maybe Crucial has a 3-year warranty with them or a year warranty or something, you know. You know how Crucial is. Yes, yeah. So don't even sell them a stick. Crucial will warranty it. So I'll let them know that that's probably what they need to do. And RAM repair. Oh, you want me to do a RAM repair? I don't want to void the warranty. I mean, we can look at it real quick, actually. I just don't want to peel back the sticker. The last thing I want to do is like make it look like someone's messed with it, so then it doesn't get doesn't get warranted. But we can at least measure to see what part of it's not working, I guess. Yeah. So this will take a little while for it to turn on. So let me just, while we're doing that, we can look at it. So we're in continuity mode still. Let's just measure a couple of these guys. So that's not shorted. That's not shorted. That's not shorted. I'm sure we'll find one soon. It's going to be one of these modules usually. Nope. Nope. So it's one of these chips then. So these things have like their own little power supply in them. And the way the DDR5 memory on the laptops, I don't know if they're like this on desktops too, but it supplies 5 volts to it, and then it has this little voltage regulator that kind of breaks it up and it produces its own voltages. So each stick is now in charge of producing its own voltage, versus the older laptop memory where you would be supplying 1.2 volts to it, and then it would, you might even be supplying some other voltages too, like the laptop is in charge of it, but they kind of changed it up a little bit. So I'm not seeing a single thing shorted here. So I don't want to peel the sticker up to look underneath there, but it's hard to get in here, right? Yeah. And I don't want to inject voltage, and there we go. I saved another laptop. Yeah, right. This laptop was not broken in the first place, man. So we are good to go on that. And so that's done. Very anticlimactic. I'm sure that one warrants no special claps or cheers. Let me find you the next one. So the 9360 this is more of a nemesis type of repair. I always have problems with these machines because they're so densely packed in here. Darren says, "Well done, Nathan. You saved another laptop." Yeah, applause, applause. But it was, diagnosing, right? So, yeah, I have seen a lot of those, so I kind of knew where to go. I don't know. Do you think most repair shops seems like they would have caught that immediately, right? They would have pulled out the memory, played the memory game. They would have seen, I would assume, right? It didn't take, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so this is an older machine. This is a 9360. This would be probably a 2016 or 17 model. So this is not Windows 10 compatible. I mean, Windows 11 compatible. But you know how that works. You can install Windows 11 on it anyway. But this one even has a barrel jack on it. It has USB-C and a barrel jack. Now this one, they said their note was a year ago I bought it and I sent it to Dell for repair because it wouldn't start at all. The keyboard illuminated the power lights. Here, I'll just zoom in. I'm a bad reader, by the way, guys, so don't expect me to read worth of crap. Wait, is this even a board repair? Corrupted OS. I was just grabbing repairs really fast, so I don't even know. This may not even be a repair, a board repair. Let's see what it does, because it sounds like it got fixed. I just kind of read the first line and thought it was a board repair. Let's see what it does. This isn't even a board repair. Scratch that. That's what I get for just doing this to the last second. I've been pretty caught up on all my board repairs, and so like I basically have, well, we got 30 computers back there that are in queue to be looked at by my other technician, and then he usually looks at it and says, "Yeah, this is a bad board," and sends it to me. But he hasn't been doing that lately. He was out early this week, so so this one looks fine. I saved another laptop. Oh yeah, because if I read the note now, it's like, oh, the first line basically says it wouldn't start at all. They said the Dell because it wouldn't start at all. So now it's good, but now they're having some other issues, right? So OS corruption, touchpad very sensitive, annoying. So this is all just like change the palm rest out, reinstall Windows, you know, boring stuff. So okay, well, I guess we're going to the 9500. I mean, I got other laptops over here too. If y'all, I don't know what you want. I never know what you want. I want to give you what you want. Yeah, we're settling for this. Yeah. We'll settle for the 9500. Premise, you're on it. All right, so here's the 9500. Let's see if I can fix this one too and without fixing it. This one's probably just a loose USB port or something like that. USB-C port is no longer charging. Had to jiggle it to charge. Okay. So there's 3 ports on this thing. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So I'm just going to plug this in without pulling it up. And you can see the meter up there. Okay, so it's triggering up to 5 volts, then off 5 volts. And now it's holding at 5 volts. But look at the CC line. You see the CC line in here at the bottom? It's at 0.81. Okay, it should be at 1.5 whenever we're connected properly. It's not. But we are only at 5 volts. I'm going to plug in the other port now. See what that one does. So that one's going to 20, and it's at 1.58, which is correct. I'm going to wiggle the port. It's fine. And then and then the current being drawn is 0.2. Let's see if it starts charging the battery. It should jump up to, is at 0.02. It should go up to 0.25 and then start charging. Here, I'll open the lid. Okay, it's powering on. Let's go to the diagnostics. We may be just changing a charge port out. This is kind of boring. Again, I'm sorry. So boring, because the machine's working. We're going to go in diagnostics. They're saying the charge port's busted. Maybe they only use 1 port out of the 3. So how do I get the tiny USB meter on the screen? Let me show you that, Gritty. So Gritty, if you look right here, here's this meter down here. Let me zoom in on a little bit. I can't zoom in better, but here we'll use this one. What's going on here? So we'll use that. So I use this little meter down here, okay? This one actually has USB out. Has USB out right there. This camera's flipping over on me. And then I go into this program here. And so this program here has these 3 fields, and then this field here. So I just kind of crop this into one, crop this into another, crop this into another, crop that into another. And inside OBS, then I create a power meter thing here. And so now I have these 3 power meter. You can't have the app minimized. Where'd it go? There we go. So I have these 3 power meter items, and each one I can turn on and off. But I have those mapped to my thing. Okay. Is that better? Oh my. Hello? We good? Did I fix it? We're good? Okay. So, yeah, so when I pulled this camera just now, this one I was kind of using the point, it pulled my microphone receiver off my computer and then knocked it off and then unplugged it. And I got 1 bit for that. Well, thank you, Gritty. But yeah, so if you get one of these power meters, then you can actually put it on the screen. That's, I saved another mic issue. Okay, back to the repair here. God, I feel like this is a horrible stream, by the way. I feel like everything's just falling apart. So I have this pulled up here. I just want to look at the detection of the AC adapter. And the battery's not detected at all, so that's not very helpful. So if the battery's not God, it's so washed out. Why are you so washed out, man? Do I need to change the exposure? That's better, maybe. So whenever I have this laptop with no battery attached, then, or the battery's not detected, then it won't even show me the power stuff. So I have to plug the battery in order to get it working. So we're gonna have to open the bottom up anyway to get the AC adapter to show up, so then we can detect it, and so then we can test it, and blah, 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 blah. So if I unplug this, it should shut off if there's no battery there, right? No, it's staying on. So where's the freaking battery, man? So we may have some other issue going on. Yes! We have something more complex than not just a loose port or something. I have to change the port anyway, that's true. So let's take the bottom out. Oh, I gotta deal with these screws here. Pull that tray out. Yeah, thank you, Two-Tone. I caught it. I caught it. I don't want to mix the screws. Don't mix the screws. It's like mixing the streams. Did you already save a laptop already? If you're just joining in, I've already saved 2 laptops. The first one was a 3.5 error on the memory power rail of an M16R1, and it ended up being a bad stick of memory. So, boom, nailed it. The second one I grabbed thinking it was a bad motherboard, and it ended up being a Windows issue because I didn't read the whole note, because they were telling me the whole past history of the machine, and so the first line was they sent it to Dell because it wasn't turning on. So I thought that Dell never fixed it. So now we're working on this one that has a mystery. One of the ports are kind of loose, I guess. But the battery's not detected even though it runs on the battery. So it's kind of strange. And of course, I'm not going to be able to get this bottom off. Put the long screw in the short hole. That's right. Yeah, I went down, actually I was with Lewis yesterday. We went, because he's in town here where I am, and he was doing a fix-a-thon where he was wiping Windows off of all these laptops. If you brought in a laptop, we would wipe them out and put Linux on it. So we did a bunch of computers yesterday. Because of all this spying, Windows 11 is now enabling so much spying in order to get you in their ecosystem. And so all these machines that are also too old to have Windows 11, people need to be able to, feel okay. Concur? Yeah, so it was an interesting day. I don't know how many computers ended up being done. I only did like 3, I think. But what's funny about it is when you're working on all these computers or these laptops that are old, you're working on a laptop that's, not compatible with Windows 11, so you have one that's older. We concur! We concur. That's awesome. whenever you're installing on an older machine, it's already going to be slow, right? So, and then some of these had mechanical drives, so they're sitting here just like, I mean, they're crunching some numbers trying to install something. So, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I can't believe this thing's on and the battery isn't detected. I mean, the battery's plugged in. It's an OEM battery. It's booted to Windows. Let me shut it down. Have I ever worked on a rugged Dell? I hate rugged Dells. So, did you say that Montgomery's 5000E is running Windows 11? For you guys that don't know what a 5000E is, it's a laptop from like 2003. That is crazy. I'm surprised that this thing's working with this. Yeah, so have I ever worked on Dell Ruggeds? Yes, and they're a pain in the butt to open. Basically, all the screws on the outside are glued in there, or they're using the red Loctite. And so you actually have to heat the screws, but it's hard to heat the screws whenever they're installed. So actually, I use like a special heating, like kind of metal stud that I have to heat up and stick down in there to heat the screw up and then try to torque it out of there. The laptops are glued together and they're a pain to work on. And the parts, they're so convoluted. You have to take pictures as you're taking them apart because you will never figure out how to get all the wires back in the right place and all that stuff. So, okay, I'm just unplugging this battery because I want to see if we can plug it back in and see if it detects now. So now I'm going to boot it back in. I'm just going to go into the BIOS first. Dells are made by aliens. That's a good one. I like that. Oh, the problem is the detect pin. Yeah, it could be. There's an is present pin, but that would make it where the battery was shut off. So you're talking about the data and clock lines. So data and clock could not be working. Yeah, I mean, I guess, or the battery could be bad, but still had a charge on it or something like that. I have new batteries here, and I have test batteries, so that's going to be easy for us to hook up and try out in a few minutes. Were any customers who had laptops booted into Linux already when they got there? No, because they were all coming with Windows. And all of them were like, we had to kind of figure out, like, you know, hey, do you want to wipe your data or do you need to back it up? And a lot of them were gamers, too. And I was like, okay, well, you know, so I brought like a USB key that had like a bunch of different versions of like Fedora and Ubuntu-based stuff to try to make sure that they can be able to play games, you know, if that's what they're going to do, Steam. And then you kind of had to explain how that worked. And the anti-cheat stuff would be the things you have to worry about, right? Okay, battery's detected now. And I just plugged in the charger. It's working fine in this port. I don't like this screen to detect this stuff because of the way that it doesn't tell me how much current's going in the battery. I'm going to turn down the brightness and see if that helps. There you go. But yeah, you can see it's detected here, charging. Dell won't offer AMD systems. Had lost it for me. Yeah, Dell does offer AMD systems and they suck. So anytime I'm working on an AMD Dell laptop, I run. I mean the gaming ones. I guess the regular ones are fine. They're cheap. They're cheaper machines. This port's fine. It's really only this other port that's kind of wiggly right here. So if I plug it in here, not installed, I'm going to hold it, and it's not working at all. I think we just got to replace a port. But I'm going to boot in the diagnostics just in case. Yeah, that one's working. This battery, I don't think this battery is that old. This is a 2020 model laptop, so I guess it could be 5 years old. Let's see what the date code is on this. Yeah, it's a 2020 battery. We can look at how many charge cycles are on it right here, and then you can tell if it needs to be replaced or not. But it will tell you if it's excellent health. It will tell you if it's end of life, all in this menu here. So if I scroll down on this screen, it should tell me everything about the battery. So the battery's in excellent health. We have 2.9 amps going into the battery. So I don't see an issue there, but normally in the configuration it should tell me the charge cycles, unless I missed it. Battery down here, 81 cycles. So this battery only has 81 cycles. Looks fine. Capacity's fine. So I think we're just changing the charge port out. Does that sound kind of boring to you? AMD has the best CPUs. I don't know about that, but I don't know. Intel has lots of issues. AMD has lots of issues. I don't know if it's, I don't know who fails less. I have no idea. But it is kind of a bold statement to say one has the best, because I'm sure that they have different versions that are better than others. So that's kind of what I always see, especially like if you're even saying like a laptop's better than another laptop. Well, you have different tiers, different grades. Even a car manufacturer, this car is better than that car, while maybe the version of the car is better in the long run. Well, I guess Toyota is better than everybody else. Okay, I'm going to pull this out. We're going to have to pull the board out, and then we'll change that port out. Pull the board out, change the port out. I might want to take up mouse repair. Yeah, I don't know if you can get enough labor out of that. I mean, how much does the mouse cost? Because I mean, you have to think about time and effort that you're putting into something. And so, you know, if the new mouse costs $79, how much labor can you charge to fix it? And how much time would it take for you to fix that $79 mouse? Because the idea with fixing a motherboard is that you're trying to save money in the long run. So at $160 for a new mouse. And so what would you be willing to pay a technician to fix it? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, that's hard. Okay, the mouse costs $250. So $250, you start getting in the area where you're like, okay, well, maybe that's plausible. And it depends, you know, if it's something that's like, I mean, because there's not 1,000 parts on it, so you're not like sitting here spending all this time trying to diagnose it. But, you know, if it's going to take 4 hours to diagnose it and fix, then, you know, what's your time worth in order to fix that? Saving it from the landfill, I would think like fixing it yourself would be definitely practical. But sending it, mailing it to somebody, and then having them spend, you know, an hour or 2 or 3 hours fixing it is hard to, you know, make a living because you're taking up that time. It's hard to survive doing it. But if you did it yourself, yeah, it's definitely, I mean, that's something I would do for sure. I'd pull apart my mouse and change out the parts or whatever, you know, if the new button or clicker or whatever, if it's, I guess something obvious, like I said. So if it's something that you can install in, you know, 20 minutes or whatever, then maybe that makes it practical because you can get it done in 30 minutes. And that seems like there would be a lot of people that would be willing to do that, those types of burn and turns. But I don't know if there's a bigger market for it. Greetings, welcome. Is XPS 4060 any good for gaming? I mean, you know, these things are going to run hot. If you look at how thin, so the XPS, I'm assuming you're on that would be in the 9530 or something. But a lot of these like have really thin heat sinks, so there's not much to them. So they run really hot in general, and so it's probably going to be thermal throttled. And so that'd be the only thing to be a concern with. But 4060 in general, I mean, I don't know if you're going to be playing like a AAA game or something. What kind of car do I have? I have a Tahoe. I'm on my third one. This time I got the diesel version. But I had a 2007 Tahoe. I had that for till 200,000 miles. Then I had a 2011, and I had that one from 70,000 miles to 180,000 miles. And then I got this 2022 Tahoe that has a diesel motor in it. It's a little 3-cylinder or 6-cylinder, 3-liter diesel, and it gets 30 miles to the gallon. It gets more than double the gas mileage as my old one. So I can fill up my tank with 24-gallon tank. I can fill that up, and I can drive 600 miles on that one tank. 620 if I'm really being crazy. My old Tahoe, I had a 25 or 26-gallon tank, and I could only go like 300 maybe. 275 is more like it. So that's why I like that one. And then my wife has a electric Volvo. You swear I was going to say Prius. Yeah, I'm driving a Prius, man. I souped it up. Nothing wrong with a Prius. No, I got kids, and so you have to have kind of a big vehicle. I also am always hauling stuff or doing construction or building something, so I need square footage in my vehicle. So that's why I end up getting the Tahoe. All right, so the motherboard is out, and so we can take a look here. So on this side of the board, we have 2 ports. And so I think it's this end one here. That's the one that's loose. If we plug it in, we can test. And so it's not doing anything, but I guess if I hold it in one position, maybe it works. It's not doing anything, but if I plug it into this one, it's working fine. So this port is kind of messed up. Let's take a look. Hey, thanks for the gifted subs. That was really nice of you. I'm going to take a look down here inside the port, and we can see if we can see anything mangled. I don't see anything mangled. It doesn't look too bad. I've seen worse. Let's look at the other side. Yeah, sometimes you'll see bent pins. Yeah, this side does look messed up. See that corner? And then the power pins are kind of pressed back down, which are going to be the far end ones, and then the fourth one in is going to be positive. So the far ones are ground, then the fourth in on either side are going to be the positive ones. So we'll just have to take this off. I don't know if I have any more. I might have some new ones. That'd be nice if I had a new one. I hate whenever it's hard to get USB ports because there's like thousands of different versions of USB ports. So, so we're going to take this off first. How many people have taken a USB port off before? So there's a couple different methods. I'm going to prop it up off my desk so it doesn't get super hot on the desk because it will start swelling up and pushing on the back of it. We can take a look. So this is going to be a combination of through-hole and surface mount. Let me see if I do have one. So I have drawers of USB ports, drawers full of them. But the question is, do I have the right one? Because every single one's going to have a different mount, and then they'll have different pin out, and they'll have different layout, blah, blah, blah. But this one has like an extra, I think it's this one actually. This one may be a used one that I took off of a board. I don't know. I think it is this one actually. So basically the way this one's set up is you have these side brackets. Here, let me get something to point with. You have these side brackets. So these side mounts are right here, and then you have this back mount. I rarely see any that have that back mount, so there you go. There's your back mount there, those side mounts, and then you have these little through holes. That's the through hole. And then you have these are through hole pins for one row, through hole pins there, and then the surface mount's going to be the back row. It's on the back side here. So this is the right port. So we already have one to install. Yay! One less thing to do. Otherwise, we'd have to pull one from a donor board or something like that if we had to. Really all we can do. So I'm going to remove this one first, and we can do it the easy way, or we could do it the hard way. No, they're all not too bad. Just got to be careful. Got to be careful. So if you take this off the wrong way, and depending upon how loose this is already, it may already be damaged in the way that I'm talking about. But so if I plug this in, let's see how much it moves. Okay, so you see how the housing or the plastic is moving, but not the housing itself. You see how that's moving? So we already might be toast. So we may actually be rebuilding some traces. But I think all these pins are probably broken there. But underneath on the back side, we have our surface mount. Let's see if we can get an angle so you can see this. Let's see, what can I use as a prop? I'm dropping things. Okay, I'm going to get in this angle here. All right, so it's going to be good enough. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to plug this in. So you see the pins in the back? Look at that. So this whole thing's moving. I don't see any broken pads per se, because that's what I would be worried about. But you can see all the surface mount row back there, and you see the whole thing's moving. Oh, sorry. See if this is clear. There you go. So we might be okay. We just need to be careful not to rip a pad when we're taking this off. That's really the whole goal. Okay, let's get going. Quit talking. Thanks for the $50 donation. It didn't make any sound. I don't really know why. Huh. Well, I appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else. For some reason, it's not making notification sounds anymore for me. But thank you so much for that donation. It's super helpful. All right, we're going to pull this guy off. I want to start by adding some solder to the back side of this to make the solder flow a little bit better. We can use low melt, which would actually be probably the best way of going. Is everyone familiar with low melt? Nathan in chat. Yeah, I'm a really bad chatter apparently. Having a hard time focusing today anyway. We got broken pens. So here's some low melt solder. And so I think it melts at like 70 C or something like that. It doesn't take much of this stuff, but the idea is that you're going to add it with the other solder and then it melts very easily. So what we have here is going to be unleaded solder. So that melts at like 220 or 230. So we'd have to get the board up to 220 or 230 to get it off. But this other solder is so low melt that it will come off easier. But I'm starting to think, I'm like, the worry part about that is that we would have all of this loose, but we wouldn't have the pads in the back loose yet. And that's why I don't like doing it that way. Because I need to make sure that the pads in the back are loose enough to come off so we don't end up damaging those pads. The surface mount is what I'm saying. So I'm just going to add regular solder to it actually, which will bring it down a little bit, but it's not going to bring it down like a crazy amount. So it comes off too early. Because that's how I normally do it. So I should just do it the normie way. So I'm just going to add a little bit of flux here. The other port is good, yes. So this port is, I don't know where, I'm not sure if it's brand new or if it's out of my pack or if it's one that I had pulled off another board. We'll look at it again. Because I had bought some at some point, but I don't know, if I've used them all or what. So, do I only work on laptops? I only work on Dell laptops, Dell and Alienware. That's it. So I'm just adding some of this leaded solder. This melts at 183 degrees. Now this isn't necessarily necessary, but it does help make it a little easier to get it off. I don't always do this. And I bet we're going to have some pins stuck in there that we're going to have to get out. All right, so now I'm going to heat from the other side because that's the side that I'm most concerned with. And we need to make sure that these pads, these traces right here, we need to make sure those are all completely liquefied before we pull that off, or else we can end up damaging it and then we'll have to rebuild them. So we're going to add some flux there. And I'm going to go high heat. We're going to go 450 degrees because I'm crazy. And then that way we can just get this thing off of here. So I'm going to start kind of at a distance though. And we're going to try to stay away from that guy. Low melt solder melts at 138. Okay, not under 100. Well, that's crazy. Low melt, it's like messy. It's almost like, it looks like liquid metal to me. I'm not using the NF Flux anymore. I've kind of, I did it, you know, I gave it a good run, and I've decided not to use it anymore. I mean, especially for this, like, so here it is right here. Here's the NF Flux. So right now, so I have this heated up, and we put this on here like this, and see how it just kind of disappears? It runs away. It like becomes really liquefied. Now he clarified inside of a video recently that said that the NF Flux that he's selling is not high temperature flux, and he's working on that, and that we should use it in his intended fashion. And so we're not using it in the intended fashion, so that's the problem. That's what he said. All right, so I'm starting to see the solder in these holes get melted. I don't really want to lift this until I know that we're good. Yeah, there we go. And we do have half a pad missing there. Let me see if I can get some of these broken pins out of here. And some broken pins. Broken pins. And get this guy out of here. Get out of there. Yeah, this thing was really messed up. Okay. All right, so I'm going to add all fresh solder on this, and then we'll clean it all off, because we need to have no solder on here while we're working on it. Solder. So that half pad, I think, will be okay. That's just a data line. It's not carrying a bunch of current or anything, and we'll be able to attach to it just fine. Yeah, I feel like there's broken parts in here. All right, so now I will just try to wick some of this away. Okay, so this side I'm putting Amtech 559. This side I'm putting NF Flux. Okay, so we got half and half. Is that a good test for you? Is that going to help you out in making your decision? The data line's not burnt completely. It's just that the pad got ripped a little bit. So we're going to start on this side. This is the NF Flux side. What I'm going to try to do is suck out the hole. Can we get the hole cleaned out? Yeah, that cleaned out nice. How about this one? Yeah, not all the way. Did not clean out all the way. What about this one? Nope, did not clean out all the way. So I'm going to heat the board back up just a little bit to help it. I'm just going to use 300C. We're just going to try to bring it back up a little bit. I'm starting to smell the lotion. All right. New Prime sub, thank you, Reaper. Well, that one's not working. Okay, so I'm going to move over here. So now we're using, this is going to be the Amtech side. So that hole did not get cleared out either. Welcome to the Donor Board Members Club. Welcome. We have a new Donor Board member. See, this happens sometimes where you cannot get the solder out of these holes. And that's what drives me crazy. So we're going to use a solder sucker on this. I try to get as whatever I can out of here, but I'm about to yell at this board. So it looks like both of them performed about the same. Nothing to cry about. So a lot of times I have to keep adding solder in these things just to get it down in there. So that's what I'm going to do again. So I'll just keep going what we're doing here. So this is Antec on this side. I'm going to reflow them with solder again, if you're wondering what I'm doing. And then we're going to suck them back out. NF flux on this side. Sound alerts are working again. All right. And let me know if they're too loud. I can turn them down. I turned them up for myself, but although it could probably be louder. Needs more solder. I'm going with more solder right now. So we're going to add, I'm going to fill this back up again. Fill that one back up. Fill that one back up. The reason why I'm filling them back up is because we need to be able to have the entire area get liquefied enough so whenever we suck it out, it will just come right out. Now, if it was all the way clear, then I'm not going to put solder back in it. Like that hole right there is already cleared, so I don't need to put anything in there. All right, so those are all full. All right, so here's how I do my solder sucker. I have one of those ones that is like a soldering iron sucker, but I just use one of these. It's pretty much the easiest way that I've found. There's probably electric ones. I don't know. I've never used an electric one. So what I usually do is I just kind of hit the board with hot air at the same time, and then I just suck it out. Sure, there's a better technique. Someone can tell me a better technique. This is just how I do it. Nice flower flux, NF flux. So I'm going to wait for the solder to flow. Oop, my microscope's in my way. I usually do it with no microscope on top. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with this microscope on top. Let me see if I can tilt it at an angle or something. Because it's too tall. Can't do it like this. All right. Let's see. How can I do this? I'm going to go like this. I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm just going to put it on overhead because I can't do it. Hopefully that's... Sorry. I usually just do it like that. Maybe I can use the other camera. Split screen. There we go. Is that doable? So I just heat up the board until I see the solder flowing, and then I come in here and just go like that. It just sucks it right out. All right, I gotta check it because I can't tell how we're doing. Got mostly off of there. I'm gonna add a little bit more flux. You should use low melt. Yeah, it's magic. Okay, let's do that. We'll use the low melt magic wherever it went. That's true. So here's what's crazy about low melt is, look, I could just touch it to the board right now and it'll melt. See that? This is why I don't like low melt, because it's messy. Like, I'm just touching the board and it's getting everywhere. And sometimes it will start running and stuff. So I haven't even added any heat to it. See that? Messy. But so we'll try doing it without a solder sucker then. We could just add flux. We'll heat it up and suck it out of there. Or not suck it, wick it out of there. So this is going to make it where it mixes with the other one. There we go. I think I got it. Does that one still have something in it? I think it does still have something in it. If the hole's not cleared out good enough, it's hard to stick the new USB port in here. Does the solder... Yeah, this one has a flexible tip on it. It does, but it's because I have to kind of go straight up in order to make the suction right. All right, let's try this again. That worked good. Yeah. Oh. I think there must be some pins still inside those holes. That's what gets tricky. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to check inside those holes. I think there's still some pins in there. That's the only thing that makes sense. Oh. Look at that. Got something going on over here. What's my favorite football team? I'm not into sports, but I live in Austin, so I guess UT would be a sports team that I would follow. I mean, not follow, but you know, I've watched a game or two this year with fellow sports enthusiasts, but I don't. And I know, I guess the quarterback's name. What's his name? Manning. But yeah, I'm not a sports guy. This is killing me, Smalls. Is this struggle entertaining to you? I find it kind of boring myself. It's hard to do commentary on something so boring. I don't know why this guy wants to keep his solder in there. Competitive wick live. I just find having the board hot enough helps. Change to a knife tip. Yeah. So it has more heat. Yeah, I might do that. Let me try this one more time. Like hitting everything when I'm trying to do it under the microscope. It's like not possible. Super not helpful what I'm doing here, but okay. See, if I could only get this to go over that hole right now without hitting the darn microscope. It just wants to hit the microscope. Give up. I'm mad at this. I'm starting to get frustrated. I mean, I can do this no problem. This is not an issue. It's just trying to do it and show it to you at the same time. So I'm just going to do it, and we'll be done with it. There we go. I think I got them all. Okay. I'm pretty bored. Pretty bored. All right, did we get it all done? All right, so it's all done. It's all clean. I didn't knock any components off. So that's what ends up happening to a lot, is that the components get knocked off. At least that's what I've seen my other techs do. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit then I'm gonna wipe it down. Was that exciting? Do I ever use pasted stencils? Yes. I have some chips I need to reball right now, actually. We can reball some memory, some DDR5 or DDR6, whatever it is. It's a VRAM. And I think we had a night where we tried to reball an EC chip and it took me a long time. but I did it. All right, so is it easy to clean? This is the 559 on this side. This is the Northridge fix on this side. And I need to be careful not to grab that ripped pad when I'm cleaning. Let me get it. I'm going to use a toothbrush for this. Why not solder wick? What do you mean? I was using solder wick. It was not working. I can't get, the board's kind of thicker, and so it doesn't suck out all the stuff it needs. Now, if I can get all the solder down the holes, you know, liquefied good enough, then it will suck it out just fine. But on these, this is a thicker board than like an, if I did it on like a 93 series, like a 13-inch, those boards are really thin. They're very easy to do it on. So, okay. So that's good. All right, so we see that pad that's damaged there. Are we worried about it? I'm not worried about it. I think it's fine. We can look at their old one, and you can see that half the pad is still attached. And you can see that all the pins were broken on this back row. So these are all supposed to be through hole, and then these are all surface mount, and then there's the half pin that was still attached. Looks like we even might be missing something there. And then here's the new one, brand new. So there's the through hole, the mounts. I think I probably installed this one and then took it back off is probably what ended up happening. I think this one's going to be a new one in general. So it just fits in there perfectly, no issues. And so what we need to do before we install it, wait, there's still a pin in here. Do you see that pin? Still a broken pin in this hole. Or did I just break a pin off of my thing? Nope, those are fine. It's probably fine, but I don't know. I usually like to get those pins out of there. I'm gonna heat it back up and see if I can just poke it down in there. Yeah, USB-C ports, like the idea of them seem like it's easy, but the issue is finding the correct port and then dealing with getting all the extra junk out of it if it's been like mangled for a while. There we go. Just tap that down. Flip it over. Did it fall out? Or, no, it's still in there. You can see it down in that hole, right down in there. There it is. There we go. Okay. All right, so we have that out of there. So the new port installs like this. So I want to make sure it's going to go in deep enough. Because sometimes we have the mounts like this a little bit of solder still left in that little hole there on that edge. And so it makes it where it doesn't want to sit down properly in that corner. That's why you got to do a dry fit first. Use a needle and flux again. Just need to do that one corner. Just need to get a little bit of solder out of this corner here. Don't wanna though. Let's see what tips I have with a bigger tip. I never use these bigger tips in general. I usually only use this same hook tip. It's my main go-to. Dry flush it. Okay. better. There we go. Okay. Nice and clean. Which iron do I use primarily? I mean, the tip that I use is this one, primarily. It's this hook tip. I mean, I have lots of other ones. This iron that the soldering iron I use is a Metcal 500 MX or MX 500. I've had it for like 15 years or 18 years. It doesn't even have a temperature gauge on it. You just flip it on, and it's on. It's a huge like unit that's dual tip, and so I have some hot tweezers to go with it, and a bunch of different tips. But it's definitely not one that has a bunch of different options. Okay, so now it's fitting in there perfectly. Okay, so what we want to do next is we don't want to flatten these pads out. We want to we need to put some solder on these, but don't put any solder in those holes. So that's going to be the big trick here, is to put solder in where it goes and not where it doesn't go. You can cut an angle on the soldering tip. Can you? I guess so. Grind it down or something? That might be a good idea. Most often uses a knife tip. I don't even own a knife tip, I don't think. I was looking through, I was like, do I own a knife tip? Because these are the tips that I have, like other tips. So I have this really big fatty, and then I have some other hooks here, and then I have this other one here. But I don't have a knife tip, and I should order one because I've seen other people use those. They're just kind of big for, I feel like, what I'm doing. But if you're saying that a knife tip works good for doing a smaller work, because I even have, this is like the smallest tip I have. It goes really tiny, but then it doesn't get hot enough on the very end, and so I have to have the board hot enough. Yeah, I think cutting the iron would be bad. All right, so we're just going to put solder on these pads all the way across. That. I cut it in that darn hole. I told you, don't do that. I was talking to you about that. Oh man, you're making me irritated now. Don't put it in the hole. Anything but putting it in that hole. I was trying to be careful. Everyone's done it. It's like I just cleared that hole out. Okay. All right, do we have all the rest of the pads are good? They are. Heat this back up. Okay, so here's the trick that I found, at least, not to mangle your pads here. So we're looking at those. We want to make sure that those get attached right. We have our new one here, right? Is this the new one? Yes. We're just going to set it in here. And then I'm going to use 300 degrees C. I'm not going to use super hot. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to heat it up until you'll see the solder, the actual, those surface mount pads actually get melted, and then the port will drop down. And then you can kind of press down on it. But you don't want to do it before that. You don't want to press down on it until it actually is all the way heated. I might do 350 actually. You just don't want to go much above that because you don't want to melt the darn thing. But if you do too low, then it's hard to get it hot enough. So 340 is what I'm at. And so I'm going to heat the board over here first. Oh, don't lift up. Okay, it just loosened up, I can tell. So now I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to move away the heat. And those should be soldered now. I'm just going to check them. And so all those are soldered now. Even that one that's a half one, you can tell that it's soldered right there. So I will reflow it one more time when we're done. But now I'm going to tack the rest of them in place. So I just used a manual soldering iron for the rest of it. Oh, you never use wick with hot air at the same time? Yeah, sometimes you just add like if I was on a board heater, you wouldn't need it. It would just work, you know. But because the boards are thick, I don't know. A lot of people talk to me about temperature and stuff, and that they never go above 300 or 330 or something. I'm like, I'm working on thick boards. I don't know what you're working on. I could see it if it's like a 1-layer board or a 2-layer board. All right, we're just gonna get in all the holes. There. Hey, got another donation, $20. Thank you so much. Gonna try to say your name, Donatas. Sorry if I butchered that. I don't like how this is flowing. Let's go NF Flux. Look at that. We just flooded it with the NF. Look at that flux. Look how it flows. So pretty. Any thoughts on doing a video in the bench setup? I mean, I can do a quick one for you. My setup is very not fancy. I just, I get tools as I need them, and a lot of the tools I have are old or are by used. Not super fancy at all. But I can show you what I'm using. I have a link to all the stuff that I am using in the video description too. All right. Is that a corrosion on one of those diodes? Let's take a look. I doubt it, but you're talking about this guy or these baby diodes? All these babies. Those are all diodes there. Diode. There's a bunch of them here, and those are those chokes. Choke. This is all this like dust that comes off of this is all over this. I hate it. Hate the dust. That's not dollars, as euros. Oh, yeah, thank you in euros. Thank you for the 20 euros. Okay. Oh. You know what I realized is I didn't bring my coffee over here. I feel like I need some coffee. It's sitting over here on this table. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. It's nice and cold now. It's been sitting there. Okay. Ooh, look how messy it is now because of all that stuff. I hate that stuff. These metallic stickers that they're used for some sort of, I don't know. Why not brush the top? Yeah, so I'm trying to brush this stuff off of here. But it's this metallic stickers that are used for shielding of some sort, and then the plastic came off of it. I might need to put another, see now it's everywhere. I'm gonna take this thing off of here. This is getting ridiculous. I'll just take the sticker off. It's making a mess. There we go. The last thing I need is this stuff getting underneath chips and getting all over the place. Now my alcohol stopped working. Coffee is good, even cold. Yeah. Does the body good. I can't believe this stuff got everywhere. Good way to break a motherboard. Look, it's all over my desk too. All right, I feel like this is a long, drawn-out repair for no reason. I want to reflow that one more time just to be sure, 100% sure. And so I'm just going to put some flux right behind it again. I'm just going to hit it one more time with 350. And then we should be good. I'm going to clean it all up really well. Again, I'm going to heat the board over here. Do an alcohol bath. I think that's what we're going to have to do. What would you be your microscope if you would choose? I mean, I chose this microscope, so I do like this one. Excuse me. And I do like looking through microscopes, not looking on the screen. 'Cause, I mean, I can look on the screen right now. It just, to me, it's easier to look through here, and it's clearer. So I do like this microscope. I have it linked in the video descriptions. And it's an amp scope. It has a 40x zoom. It's a trinocular, so you can have a separate camera at the top that's not taking any of your vision away. So that's what I choose. All right, we're going to do a thorough cleaning, and then we'll test it. And then I'll have to go find another repair, or we have 15 minutes. Sundays I don't do that long of a stream because I have lots of other stuff going on Sundays. And I did want to discuss if everyone's enjoying the Sunday streams, if I should continue doing it, because I'm kind of like trying to figure out, like, is it too much? I am doing twice a week now. I don't know if some people are just joining into one or if they're joining into both. Also, I don't know if it's like clogging up my feed because I have a bunch of live streams dumping in there, and then we also have the tutorials that go in the feed, and we also have my regular repairs going into that feed. So I just don't know what your opinion is on that. Sundays work great as long as it works for you. Yeah, I mean, it is. I am getting exhausted. So I am starting to feel a little bit of a burnout type of situation going on. So that's what I'm kind of worried about. I don't want to get burned out. And a lot of stress with trying to keep up with all this stuff at the same time. Loving Sundays as well as Wednesdays is too late for you. Yeah, so I understand that the people over across the pond, definitely Sundays is the way to go. And so that's why I have this here for you. Okay, that's clean enough for me. Let's do the other side again. I want to make sure that we don't have any more of this. See, look at this stupid stuff. Look at this. You see how I'm just like picking this up, and that's that stuff that gets everywhere? And so I just don't want to touch it. You found it a little difficult to find the main content when it was mixed in. Yeah, so I actually removed the lives from I did have them in the same playlist, so now I have the lives inside their own playlist, and then the main content is in their own playlist. So that way it's easier to not get them mixed up in there. I just don't know how, there's not that many people actually rewatching the lives, so the lives are just kind of like you have to be there type of thing. Some people will watch them the next day. But all right, let me clean this counter off. I don't like dirty counters. Gosh, I'm sorry. I need to drink some water too. Hate clearing my throat every 2 seconds. All right, so I am seeing a common theme. So some people could tune into one, but not the other. So, okay. Yeah, so I'm going to keep going. I enjoy doing the streams. It's not like a huge burden or anything. It's just another thing to do. It's just whether it messes with the other content is kind of what I'm worried about. Is that if, you know, I'm thinking maybe I should put the same thumbnail on all the lives so then you know it's a live. And then instead of doing like unique thumbnails, I was doing it kind of the same style where I would do like a thumbnail for the lives and the thumbnails for my main videos. But I don't, if I'm doing that on every single one, then it may be confusing whether it's a live one or a regular one. So that's probably, I'll just probably stick with just kind of doing the same type of thumbnail for lives on every single one. And you know what you're going to get anyway. And it's less work for me because I don't have to design a thumbnail on the fly in the morning, because that's what ends up doing on Sunday mornings. Like I got up at 6 and I'm like, okay, I'm in Photoshop and I'm finding shots of me inside of a video and doing this, and you know, and it's a pain. And then on the Wednesdays I have to do it a couple hours in the afternoon ahead of time. Do a second YouTube channel for the live streams. Well, I was thinking about that as like forking it off, or I could even like put, you know, maybe I could put them on there after they've streamed. But the thing is that if I did a live stream on YouTube on a separate channel, no one would watch it because I don't have any followers on there. So I don't know, unless I made sure that people would go over there to watch it. Maybe I could shuttle all you guys over there, and I guess that could work. I can try that out maybe. Parts People Live. All right, so we're gonna see if this works. I'm sure it does. Power meter. All right, so here's the port we just replaced. Oh, something happened. Did you hear that? Okay, that was weird. I'm like, do I have some gum still in here? I heard a spark. Yeah. I don't have playback replay enabled, but that would have been a nice replay. Let me see if I can dry this out. We'll definitely make it more exciting. Okay, I'm going to try the original port first, the port that did work, just to make sure everything's still functioning. And the board's coming on. You can see it pulling current like normal and negotiating 20 volts. It should come back on. There we go. Okay, so that's the original port. So let's go to the port we just replaced that just did some popping sound. Did you hear it again? I mean, it was working. It turned on. Here, I'm going to move my microphone down here. Okay, it's turning on. I don't know if it's just, you hear it? I think it's not getting a good connection. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds like, and that, I am rocking it back and forth, but it sounds to me like it's not getting a good connection. Let's, gosh, clear my throat. Oh, it's frustrating. Microscope, please. Oh, I can't reach it. There we go. That was whenever the mods were supposed to change the camera for me. Go, microscope. This is the port we just installed. We should have freaking looked at this thing. This thing looks ugly. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my gosh. Where'd that port come from? Oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. Go microscope. You gotta be kidding me. Well, that was ridiculous. I mean, that port works, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. When it's in a bin full of brand new ports, I would think it'd be brand new. See, here's one that looks brand new, same port, I think. Yeah, I mean, hello. Here's another port that's in there. Is this one brand new? This one's used too. So I think this is the situation that I had where I couldn't find these ports. I think this is what's going on. Now it's coming back to me. I couldn't find these ports. And so I had a bunch of donor boards and I just pulled a bunch of ports off and threw them in my bin. Is probably what I did. So this is a donor board port that's on here, and I'm not completely happy with how well it's functioning. Unless it just had some leftover residual flux in there. Here, let me plug it in about 20 times just to see if I can clean the corrosion off or if there's something in there. But I think we're going to have to see if I can find some. I think they were only on AliExpress, and I hate AliExpress ports. Okay, let's see if that's better. Bourbon time on a Sunday morning. Bourbon and orange juice. No, it's not doing it now. It's not wiggly. The port's tight. It's like, it snaps in there really nice. And so it seems to be working now. Let's see. Yeah, the board's on. I think there was just some flux still in there or something. The connection, the poppy sound, I think was basically the pins, you know, when it's like in there and it's like having to touch onto another pin. That's what I think was not making a good connection, because that's actually fine now. That's why I was trying to clean it with a toothbrush, with the alcohol. Anyway, I'll probably end up changing this port out again with another one. Maybe I can try to order some from AliExpress. I'll see what they say. I won't charge them full price for this repair anyway. They have a year warranty. Anything I put on here has a year warranty regardless, so it doesn't really matter. And I think these people are local. Are they? No, they mailed it in. So I would have to pay for return shipping if they had an issue. Whew. That gets expensive. It's about $50 in shipping right there. Yeah, isopropyl alcohol is not conductive except if you have lower percentage. This is 91 that I'm using right now. So there's going to be some stuff in there that's going to be a little bit, have some weird conductivity issues. Reflow it. Do you think I should? I don't think it's a connection of my flowing. I think it's inside the hole. Flux is like popcorn. Maybe it was the NF flux, you know, NFing itself to death. Yeah, you only use, I know, and it's like I ran out, and so I had whatever I have, so I had to order another whole thing of it. Big jug. So I always have like backup. We use this for like cleaning stuff. So. JFix, you're late to the party. Well, JFix, let's bring JFix up to speed here. Well, first, they voted on a laptop that had a missing power rail on the memory DDR5, and it ended up being a shorted memory module. So we just unplugged it, and now the laptop worked. And the next one ended up being a Windows issue, and not even a motherboard issue at all. And the next one just ended up being a bad USB-C port And so I ended up installing a USB-C port that I thought was new, and it was used. It's working, but it's a little janky. So that's the party we've had this morning. So welcome aboard. But it is working. I mean, it's tight. It's not doing its thing anymore. All right. Let me just put the board back in, and then we can hang out for a little while. You should open a pizza shop. Yeah, give me some pizza. Pizza. What were you up to this morning, J-Fix? Doing some yard work? Or I guess it's the afternoon for you, right? So, NF, Nathan's Flux. Nathan's Flux. 3 for 3 today. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't count even. I don't even know if I'm counting 1 for 3 today. I did clear 3 out of my shelf, I guess, but well, I haven't done the Windows repair yet. So that, I mean, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to have my technician do that. I don't want to fix a Windows issue. New from Soren's box. Parts People's Pizza. Parts People's Pizza. Whoa. What is that? Thank you. Thank you. I got 100. Gritty gave 100 bits for that. I don't know. I don't feel like I deserve anything for today's stream. Port is working. False alarm. Yes, the port is working fine. It was just making a crackling noise at first because there was some sort of residual NF flux inside the hole. You know how the NF flux likes to go everywhere. And I could have played it off like everything was fine. But that's not how I roll. That's not how I roll. I can't see these. Let's put these antennas on together. I haven't taken a look at these antennas yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get these attached. All right. So we have this antenna. It's micro. You take it, you line it up, and it's hard to get on because they're tiny. Do you concur? I concur! Oh my gosh, I went home the other night after that because it's just like everyone was concurring with me about everything. All right, so we got those installed. Two streams. Okay. These screws. I'm still speechless about the motherboard video you posted that destroyed itself. Yeah. Were you here early enough to look at the board? We just we drilled into it at the starting of the stream. I bet a lot of people missed that, so we could show all off the board again if we need to. But I did show that destroyed board. It's NF Flux's fault. I think it's strange how he did change his tune on that, though. He's like, this is not a high temperature flux. You should know that. You should be using it as intended, and we are working on high temperature flux. Does that even make sense? Wait, it's just that your stream today, you are real and nothing is prepared. I like it. Yes, that's 100% true. I don't need to have it where everything's shiny and polished, because the thing is that real is real, and if you're constantly trying to live up to somebody else and you're comparing yourself to somebody else who is doing things a certain way and you think that they're just magically perfect, it probably is because they're doing it behind the camera and they're doing it all perfect. So yeah, I don't look at things ahead of time. I plug my ears before, I look at something. I don't want to know. I want to go in cold. And every single one of the videos is the same way. Every single one. I don't look at the product ahead of time or the laptop ahead of time, so I don't know what's going on with it. And we actually do figure it out together. I was trying to. I saw a question in here. What Linux distro do you recommend? It really depends on what you're doing, right? So if you're gaming, then you have to run something different than if you're just browsing the web and doing stuff. So if you're into gaming, then I would recommend a gaming distro of some sort, something that's Fedora based or maybe Arch. So I've used Linux Mint for years, and then I started using Nabara, which is a Fedora based distro for gaming, but I don't do a lot of gaming either. I'm just kind of using older games. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm doing something out of order here. I'm like, why is this not working? I've installed this so many times, and I'm like, how am I doing this out of order? So yeah, Nabara is what I'm using right now. I don't know if I recommend it. The KDE Plasma desktop is driving me crazy. I don't know, or maybe it's the updating system, but I keep having issues with the Plasma. So I actually like Cinnamon Desktop better, so I may end up going back to Mint. But I don't do a lot of gaming, so it doesn't really matter to me. So Storm Chaser, what did you say? Oh man, this chat moves fast for me sometimes. I'm trying to focus on it. Let me scroll back up here. One live stream or both. Some you make it some weeks or neither. Burnout is an issue. Yeah, thank you. I was thinking maybe I'll do some sort of alternation at some point is what I may end up doing, where it's like every other Sunday or something like that. But I'll keep an eye on it. The main thing is I just don't want to have the YouTube feed get all messed up either. So I don't know if I want to just delist them after a week or so then I don't have a bunch of live streams, because nobody's going back and watching those live streams, I don't think. So it's just a bunch of junk in there. Or I need to edit them down. I'm going to actually experiment in editing some long live streams into videos and see if that actually makes some funny content. Did you guys see that short that I did off of that burned up laptop yesterday? I didn't do it. My one of my video editor was like, hey, I did a short, and he doesn't do shorts for me normally. I thought it was pretty funny. Did y'all see that? I put it in the video. Here, I may play it for you in a second. Let's turn this thing on. I thought it was pretty funny. It made me crack up. It didn't do very well. Nobody really got a kick out of it, but I did. All right, so we have our port. I didn't plug in the battery. This is not very an impressive repair. I'm like, that's why I'm like, just change the USB port out. It smelled really bad, yes. It did smell bad. Yeah, you saw it, Tim saw it. The short, so basically just as my video editor, his son, who's like, I think 12 or 13, he did the music to the background, and so he did this beat, and then he cut my long form into a short where I was basically speaking on beat, and then I kept smelling the laptop and doing this whole thing, so it was just like a kind of a ridiculous thing. I'll see if we can drop it in the chat. I'm about to drop it in there for you. So yeah, here's the short that was made out of that long of that burned up laptop. All right. Okay, AC adapter is now detected on this port, and I'm wiggling it. It's not making a sparking sound, and it's not disconnecting. I'm gonna unplug it. I'm gonna flip it over and make sure it works the other way too, because you want to make sure it works both ways, because that CC pin needs to be able to communicate in both directions. So, and there you go. Adapter detected. It should start triggering charging. There you go. Just cut off with an ad. Oh, sorry about that. All right, so the whole system's working. Is basically, there's nothing more to it. We fixed the USB port, and it's solid. It's not loose. It's not having a connection issue. Originally, it did make kind of a weird sparking sound, but again, these pins are kind of sitting there when you plug it in. I think there was some of that NF flux residue on there, and so it was popping it, making little popping sounds on there. So speaking of burned out, the laptop sure did get burned out, yes. So for those who missed it, I don't think I plugged in the power button on this. I did not plug in the power button, so I can't turn this off. But let me show you that motherboard again. We already showed at the starting of the stream, but here's that motherboard. It doesn't smell as bad anymore, but whenever I reheated it, when we were messing with it earlier, it definitely had some smells. So we already dug in here. There was a chip right there. I don't know where the chip is now. And then we dug a hole right there into it. So this is not the battery side at all. I can actually turn it around for you and show you. So this is the back side of the, that's the camera. This is the LCD connector, GPU, CPU. So power stages for the CPU are right here. And pretty much on the back side of that, it's really closer to the camera. But I don't think the camera would pull enough, power for that. Yeah, this is a donor board now. So I haven't stolen any parts out of it, but I do have it in my stack of donor boards. So it is good. We will use some parts off of it or something. Oh, man. All right, does anyone have a repair in my repair facility right now that we can go grab and fix on the spot, randomly? That would be fun. That's not even a repair. I put another motherboard in their laptop, so it did get repaired and sent back. Sell me a keyboard connector, please. For what model? Nice to see something other than a MOSFET change, a cracked capacitor, or EC flash, yeah? There's an explanation for what happened? No, but they did have an aftermarket battery in their system, so if they did have some sort of short that happened, normally a battery would shut off. An aftermarket battery may or may not have shut off, and so it could have just kept sending power to that area and burning it out. A safety inside of a real battery would have kept it going, so I would have shut it off so that it wouldn't have kept going and burning out more and more. How do you get to diagnostic screens? On a Dell, you're going to either hit F12 right when you turn it on, and you're going to choose diagnostics, or you're going to hold FN and then power on the laptop, and then it will boot right into diagnostics. Is there anyone have a repair waiting? He'll grab it. Yes. So anybody hear me out there? If you have a repair in here right now, I will go grab it. And if I miss it in the chat, then you can bell me on it. But I have a. Technically, I should be done doing for the day, but I'm kind of interested in doing a fun one. So let's see. I have Monty's computer trying to open it and get the arena light hooked up. Okay, so for Monty had sent in his laptop. Monty's usually in chat, but he's not in today. And he sent his laptop for repair, and then my tech forgot to plug in the arena light in the back. So let me grab one of those right now, and I'll show how that connects. Unless we see anything else. Do you have a motherboard for a 16 premium? No, and you cannot post 4 times in a row. If you do, my mods will end up banning you, so don't do that, okay? Or at least putting you in timeout. So the 16 premium just came out, okay? 16 premium just came out. That means that I'm not gonna have any parts for it, or the only time I will have them is if I go and buy a machine and part it out. So I did just buy 5 of the new models of Dell laptops. We're in the process of right now parting those out and taking pictures of all the parts and cross-referencing on what they go to, and then those will become our test machines. So we won't have parts to sell, but we'll have listings for them. But yeah, you can't. Okay, let me grab, is it real or is it fake? Do I have any of those? I don't know. But let me grab that an X15. His is an X17 or X15? I think it's an X17. I do have a machine around here somewhere. Pretty sure I do. This one, this one, this one. Okay. What laptop model was Montgomery's? It was an X15 or X17? X17R2? X17R2. Okay. Let me see if I have an X17R2 in the queue. It's an X17R1. All right, so X17R1 is going to be the same as an X17R2. And so let's just open the bottom up. So what the issue is that my technician failed to unplug or plug in his arena lights. So back here, there's like this light that goes around here. And there's 2 cables that plug in. And so you just have to plug it in. Otherwise, we were offered to send him a return label to send it back, but he didn't want to be away from his laptop. So he said he was just going to deal with it. But I would like to get it fixed for him. So 16 Premium is one of the new processors. Forget that they call them. It's the Ultra 9, yeah, Core Ultra. It's weird. I want to show those boards off. I don't have them right here, but everything's built on one die, so it has a chipset. The memory is built right next to it on some of these. So it's like one Intel chip that has it's broken into 3 quadrants. So it has a CPU, the GPU, and the chipset all on one die, and then right next to it is actually soldered on RAM. So I'm not really liking it. Okay, and the bottom is off, and this one looks dirty. I don't even know why this one's here. Ah, you know what this one's here for? This one's actually kind of, I could smell it too. This one's here for Jack Daniels being spilled on it. So that's fun. That's giving some sort of 2.7 error. But okay, so we have this opened up, and here is our arena lights in the back, and here's the 2 cables that go up, and that's it. So you just flip this little latch up, the cable comes out, flip it up, cable comes out, and then to put it back in, you just make sure it's flipped up, and you just set it in there like that, and it flips back down. So there's 2 of them. And it's easy to forget whenever you slide the actual cover on. The cables are just kind of there, and they kind of sit where they want it to look like they're plugged in, and that's why it's easy to forget that. We've had that happen plenty of times. The 2 things that we always forget to plug in is our speakers and these arena lights. I don't know why speakers are always the other ones, but we always test everything, and then the arena lights are on the back, so we always forget. So. Now I see why they're named. Yep. Does that look like it's going to help you out to be able to get that connected? It's pretty straightforward. You don't even need to unplug the battery for this. Just, flip those up. They're not on. There's no power going to those lines at all. Don't burn yourself. Yeah, Jack and Coke. Jack and Coke. It said it was, it said spilled Jack and Coke and around it, and the fan sucked up the fluid. And now the screen issues with horizontal lines on the bottom at the right edge and darkness, and sometimes when you flip it open, you get a 2.7 error, which is a screen not detected or screen not working. Sometimes it closes the lid and it looks like it goes to sleep again. I mean, to me, this looks like I need to do a full disassembly, clean out, and it may need a new screen is probably what it may need. It is kind of dirty, but you can tell that maybe the Jack and Coke got in the fans. Oh, you can't see that. You see the Jack and Coke probably got in the fans, but should we even try turning it on? How are we messing with a new laptop all of a sudden? We didn't find anybody in the chat that had their laptop here, right? Sugar will damage it for sure. Rest in peace. Here, I'm just gonna power it on. Do I ship? Yeah, I ship worldwide. I don't do repairs outside of the United States though. So you can order parts. I ship to 200 countries or something like that. So you just order on the website. The website has a real-time inventory, shows you exactly how many parts are in stock. You order it, and it comes with a year warranty and all that stuff. But As for repairs, I only do Canada and United States because of shipping costs. If I have to warranty a laptop and have to send you a return label, the cost outweighs the repair itself. Like usually, even at this point, if I have to do a warranty on a repair, I basically lose money in general. So that's why I don't want warranties. And I put a year warranty on the machine, so I think that having to warranty something outside the United States would not be worth it. Should we even plug this thing in? Is the battery plugged in? The battery's still plugged in. Okay. I haven't plugged it in yet, but the screen did come on. This is off the battery. Fans are on full blast. It's booting the Windows. I have some sort of artifacting on the bottom of the screen. Can you even see the artifacting? There you go. You see the artifacting on the bottom of the screen? So this panel is shot, probably. And the fans are like on full blast right now. Which this model has 4 fans, which that's why I like this model. It has 4 fans on this, 2 on each one. It's booting. But so he said sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, which are my favorite type of repairs. It overheats sometimes while I'm playing a game and just restarts. The fans used to turn on automatically depending upon the game. Now they do that manually 24 hours a day. So apparently the fans are running full blast 24/7. Yeah, so let me reboot down into, oh, the trackpad's sticky. Yeah, the touchpad doesn't work right either. It's like not clicking right. The screen is messed up. It's all dark on one side here, and then the bottom's all messed up. So like this side's like, it's almost like the backlight's not on. So maybe that's where it got spilled. And you can tell he heavily games because all the letters are gone, or all the paint's gone off of here. Do you concur? I just want to go in the BIOS and see what the power setting is for the fans. Now, if the fans are on full blast all the time and it's set to just regular fan mode, then we may have an overheating issue or a sensor issue. Let's see, performance options, overclocking disabled, fan mode enabled. We concur. So fan performance mode is enabled, which I believe that's what cranks the fans on full blast. I'm pretty sure. So if I disable that, I think it should disable the fans running at full blast. Let's see. Yeah, you should always keep your drinks right next to your electronics, especially if it's a Jack and Coke. Okay, fans are still spinning up. Yeah, they're still cranking. So I'm just going to put it back to the way it was set, and then I want to boot into the diagnostics. And we're just messing around. We're not working on this yet because it is working. It's just intermittent. So diagnostics F12. Yeah, whoa, it's going crazy. It's cranking. Yeah, this fan's definitely messed up. I mean, not the fan, the screen, because I can barely see the bottom of the screen. Okay, temperatures. Temperatures. I'm trying to dim the screen because it's so bright for the camera, but I don't know if it's going to show it. So temperatures look fine, right? I would say 40 degrees CPU and 40 degrees GPU. would be fine. So something's messed up on here. Oh. Wait. I heard them again. Yeah, I switched them back to that other setting. So maybe the other setting did slow it down, but I don't know. I think it's a sensor issue or something. Pull the battery and stick it in the ultrasonic cleaner. You know how much work it is to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner? This thing has liquid metal on it. And it has a billion stickers and screws, and it's not just as easy as sticking something in an ultrasonic cleaner. I mean, we're talking a good 45 minutes of work just to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. And then drying it. So hopefully, I mean, that's probably what I'll end up doing in order to clean the corrosion if we do have corrosion. You learned something on soldering on YouTube. We found a short without thermal camera measuring ground to gate voltage. The faulty MOSFET had low ohms on the gate. Yeah, I think I've seen that before. From Soldering on YouTube channel. I need to check out that. Is that, wait, did I see that the other day where he likes to check that all the time? Or is that, was he in ohms mode or was he in diode mode when he was checking that? Do you know? I'm on a tech challenge. I invented a new shower-safe toaster. Isn't that like Groundhog's Day where he tries to kill himself every single day and he throws it in? It's like, okay. More cold coffee here. PTM 7950 time. Yeah, so if I do disassemble this, he will get converted over. Yeah, the backlight seems to be okay. I mean, I think the LCD is failing because it has all those issues. So if he's getting a 2.7, sometimes it's probably just a bad LCD that's failing. Okay, so you measured that gate inside resistance mode. Interesting. And low ohms on the gate. I mean, I've seen low ohms on the gate before, but sometimes you get a false reading because that gate is tied to whatever's controlling that. And so I've you know, if you take like the power management chip off or something, then it can pull that back up. Right now I'm only supposed to stream from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sunday mornings, and so right now it's 11:30, so I'm a little bit past my time. So I'm just trying to kind of hang out with you guys for a little bit and try not to start anything big time, unless somebody was in the chat who had their laptop and I was going to do something kind of fun. Let's see. Montgomery told me that he wanted your tech to remove the liquid metal and yeah. So we de-liquid metalled Monty's X17R2 when it came in. So that had been redone, and it has PTM 7950. Thank you for the super chat. $14.26. That's a very precise number. Is there a significance to that? Oh, no. Well, why does it say 20 here? Dennis gave 20. On my screen, it said 1426. Maybe I converted it Canadian. That's what it was. So my screen said 1426, and your Canadian said 20. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Any other questions here? I need to pay attention here. It's not just Coke on the screen connector. Do you want me to look at the screen connector? I probably should. Because if it sucked up the fans and it was getting 2.7 sometimes. Where did you get the alien lamp in the background? So this is one of my subscribers. He said he had gotten 4 of these back in the day. So this is an old alien head promo head. I just mixed screws. And so he sent me one of them. It was still brand new in the box. This is just like an acrylic piece that goes into this little holder and you can change the color. So I thought it was kind of a nice thing to add in the background there. What color should I do? That green was kind of cool. Green, nope. Well, I'll stick with blue. So what's the final outcome on the third laptop from the last Sunday's stream? What was that? I think I still have that one here. Is that the one, the X17 or the 17R4 that, why wasn't it turning on? I think so, right? Or 15R4? I think it turns on now. I think I got it to turn on. Yeah, it was a... I'm trying to remember. It's like the next day I always forget whatever repair I was working on. But that one's still here, I think, because I think I deemed it a new motherboard. That was the one we changed out a bunch of different parts, I think. Yeah, tracing power. And I was like, it should work now, right? And then, yeah, let me grab it because I think we can. I wanted to look at the fan connector. I mean, the LCD connector on this. That's why I'm trying to pull this back off. But it would help to take both screws out. There we go. Yeah, maybe I can use these times to give updates on some other repairs too. That will also be helpful. We have some dusty dust. Kind of dusty in this area. The LCD connector is right here, and what I was trying to see is I just want to see if we have a spill or something in this area because the jack and coke got sucked up somewhere. But it might just be mainly on the screen itself that got ruined. Look how funky that is. It's pretty gross. That's pretty gross, man. It's like carpet fibers. Oh, that's giving me a 3.5 error. Cat hair, dust mites. This looks like carpet fiber. See, that looks like that. Yeah, it looks nasty. So these look like that carpet foam, and then all this other stuff looks like carpet fibers. So I'm suspecting something's near carpet. That's really what it looks like. But it looks nasty. And it has thick buildup though. Thick buildup. All right, there's the LCD connector. There's no liquid damage there. Let me see if I can grab that other machine because I'm pretty sure that I just want to see what it does now because I think it does turn on. And then I'm going to have to call it soon. Where is it? Can't remember which one it is. It's not that one, it's not that one. I swear. You know, I might have already fixed it and sent it off. Unless it's this one. I think it's this one, actually. Yes. Here it is. Is this the one? Okay. Excuse me. This is the one. And what does it do now? It actually turns on. That's what it does. So this is last Sunday's stream. We're going to go thermal. Okay, going thermal on here. And what we're trying to see is if it will actually post properly. I power it on. Flip it over. Let me hit the power button one more time. So this is the one where I think I had the bad CPU, I think. I thought, right? Is this, or is this a different one? I can't, you know, I really can't remember. Excuse me. So we just pressed it, it went to 0.92, and now it's at, okay, you see that? It went to 0.92 for a second, then went down to 0.04, and then now it's just doing this pulse thing, and you'll see the CPU and chipset come on occasionally. So the chipset's on, there's the chipset. It's heating up, and the CPU, boom, and then shuts back off again. I got to switch back to the FLIR, right? Isn't this bad? Isn't that crazy? All right, I'm gonna plug a FLIR back in. Where my FLIR at? Where that FLIR at, yo? Does everyone concur that the FLIR, we need to go FLIR? You got to concur with the FLIR. Now the hard part is to get it in the right spot because it's not bracketed in here anymore. You got to concur with the FLIR. You got to concur with the FLIR. Ah, there you are, my old friend. I mean, that's better, right? I mean, yeah, there's reflections, which is annoying. Like, that's a reflection, so I can just tilt the board and the reflections go away, but the world concurs. So I don't know if this is still pulsing, if it already went through its couple cycles of pulsing. You know, let's hook up a, you know what? It might be giving me a error code right now, which I believe would probably be a bad CPU or something. But I need a power button because my other power button broke. So I need to unscrew this one out of here. Yeah, and I'm glad that I didn't reach out to Thermal Master to have them send it to me for free, because then I would probably have to like it. I just paid the $300 and I can return it myself if I need to. All right, I'm just going to hook the power button up so that way we can actually get a light code if it has one. Because my test power button broke. See if we actually have a light code already. We do. Okay, so I'm going to switch to a camera view of some sort. Let's see. Let's do just a microscope. We're going to be able to see the light code. Okay. 1, 2, 1. We know what a 1, 2, 1 or a 2, 1 is, right? Gosh, I need to clear my throat. Does everyone know what a 2, 1 is? Raise your hand, raise your hand. CPU, yes. So on a Dell, a 2, 1 error code is going to be a CPU. So that's kind of what we suspected anyway last week whenever we were messing with this, because this is the one that originally was doing one symptom, and then we ended up having a shorted MOSFET on the CPU, and we changed it out. And then that's right, and the ohms on the CPU is lower than normal. It's not like super low though, so it's like 1.2 ohms, I think. Yeah, 1.3 ohms. And then our test board was 1.8. Yeah, so here's our test board, same motherboard, same CPU, and I think it's 1.8, 1.5. So that's not even that far off, 1.5. So yeah, it's kind of surprising, right? But you can see it pulsing on for a second and shutting off. 1 for 1, done. Well, not necessarily. It depends on how high end the CPU is. So the higher end the CPU, the lower the ohms are. So if you have like a i3 or something, yeah, you're going to be at 3 or 4 ohms. I've seen 6 ohms even. These are i7 or i9s. This might be an i9. Here, I'll tell you which one it is. I think it's an SRK3Y. I believe that's the i7 11700K. Maybe a 10700K. I don't know if I was going to reflow the CPU, because I don't know if the CPU would be the issue on this. You know, because we had that MOSFET shorted on here, so it was sending voltage straight up to it. I think it was that one we changed out, number 3. So the guys already decided to replace the motherboard. I have a motherboard. We're going to be installing it. I don't know if we're going to do it. I might do it tomorrow or something. So, okay, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I got to get home. I got a lot of Sunday stuff to do. And let's see. I want to see any other questions, last questions before. So if you've already put a question in that I didn't answer, try to drop them in now. I'll see if I can get it answered before we wrap it up. But okay, so it was the 10. Okay, so 10870H, which is a little higher end than the regular just 10700s. Change the CPU for fun. At some point I will. Reflowing inside of a CPU or a GPU, I mean, we could do it. It's just a slow process, right? Because you got to bring the board up to temperature for a long time, and then, you know, you're flowing it, and then making sure we get the right camera angles and stuff. I mean, we could try it. One thing I want to try, like, I've never pulled a CPU or GPU, just never even attempted it. We could try pulling a chipset or something like that. I just don't have a stencil for a chipset. I do have a stencil. I did buy some stencils for some older CPUs, some like 7th gen and 8th gen. So we could try maybe doing one of those and re-stenciling it and trying to put it back on. Yeah, Black Horse is the one who's set up to do that, and he likes doing that. And if I did it, I'd do it for fun. I just don't want to advertise it, because that's not something that I want someone to send in and be like, okay, now it's time to change the CPU, because it's like, you never know if, you know, changing the CPU is going to fix it, and you're going to spend a bunch of time trying to fix it. So, do you have 5450 batteries? I don't know. You have to check the website. The website has a real-time inventory, so it will tell you exactly how many you have in stock in every single thing. So if you just go to the Latitude E5450 category and click on batteries, they'll be there. Or you can just run your service tag on the website, and that will pull up all the parts for your machine, and then it'll just match it up that way. Have you run through the ultrasonic cleaner yet? We've done 2 live streams, and we've used the ultrasonic cleaner, and I've used the new smaller one for some of these smaller parts, but I haven't shown it on the stream yet. JFix, thank you for the stream. Donor had an issue with a 9550 coming on with no picture. Is that, or, oh, Dover. So you're talking about on the Discord still? Because I need to, does he still need me to send him a BIOS? Because I have more BIOSes. I can probably make one or something if we need. I don't think I have one made, but I can make one. Do you have any experience with resoldering a NEC capacitors, or do you have any recommendations? No, I don't have any familiar. I mean, the only thing I work on are these, so I'm not really familiar with that. Be much harder live, yes. Live streams, you have to perform on demand, so as long as you know that you're a real person and you can fail, just like a real person fails, then I have no problem with it, right? So that's how I've kind of gotten over the fear of this, is just knowing that as long as you present yourself as a real person and not expect to be perfect, then everything will be fine. And we're all doing this together, right? If one of those MOSFETs failed shorted, shouldn't you change the other ones in parallel? Not in general. So when it fails and shorted, it basically makes it where it's a wire, so it just kind of bypasses it. So it's kind of the same as if you just took a wire and just jumped over one of those MOSFETs, or in that whole row, and it would have just bypassed those. So it's not putting any stress on the other ones, so it wouldn't be damaging the other ones. So they're all coming on for a second, like if you measure it. So like if we measure, here, I'll plug it back in, I'll show you. We'll measure the voltage while it's coming on. and you'll see it spike for a second. And I'll keep reading so y'all can watch this at the same time. So I'm going to put this on the CPU voltage rail, hit the power button. So you'll see it jump up to 0.8 for a second. It should, at least. Or am I a liar? Oh, he flashed a new BIOS. Okay, JFix, he flashed a new BIOS, but he had some issues to get the Dell display, get the Dell display to test screen. So like holding down the D key. Assuming he got a good BIOS. Now on that machine, there's also a LCD connector issue sometimes because the way that you pull it off, it can like get damaged and you kind of hold it off to the side. Those machines will post without a screen, but I don't know if you can get an external monitor. But you're saying that it is posting, but it is getting an external monitor? Have you looked at IR blocking film for the overhead light? So I do have, not IR blocking film for the overhead light. Huh, that might be interesting. Maybe I could try doing that to help with the infrared camera. Flash multiple BIOSes, none of it helped. Okay, all right, so that's not going to be the issue. But are you getting caps lock to work? I mean, is the machine seeming like it's functioning? This thing isn't turning on anymore like we were saying, right? Yeah, you have a question about invest in stocks, Apple, NVIDIA. You invest in stock? Yeah, I mean, I have stocks that I invested in. I mean, I probably have some Apple, NVIDIA. Yeah. Do you ship parts worldwide? Yes, I ship to 200 different countries. So you can just go on the website and order, and it will ship out the same day, and it comes with a year warranty. Like using a wire over a shorted fuse. Yes, similar to that. Why do they have inline MOSFETs if they both aren't needed? Do you expect one of them to go bad? I don't know exactly why they put them like that, where there's like two of them in line. I don't know what the whole premise of that is. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm just kind of, I learn as I go for all this stuff, so no one taught me any of this. I'm going to try to use this power button instead. See, now it's not even turning on anymore. It was turning on a second ago, right? But now it's not even turning on. Wasn't it pulsing with heat on the CPU, you said? And the way reflow that. Maybe, did I say that? I might have said that. In general, I don't reflow CPUs if I don't have to, but I don't think the CPU is the issue. A lot of times we'll have a GPU and I'll reflow that, like if we're having it would not detect properly. But the CPU, when we had a shorted MOSFET on there, it usually just destroys it. Are the DR MOSFETs on separate drivers? So these DR MOSFETs have one controller that runs all the, well, I mean, you got, some of these are in parallel and some aren't. So like, I believe these are all in parallel. These 4, these 5 are going to be all in parallel. And then these are going to be separate. I believe that's how it is. Or maybe it's all these, all 6 of these. And then those are all ran by that. I think this is the NCP that's running it. Or is that one? Or this one runs there. Yeah, so I think it's this guy that's controlling that. Concurs repairs. No powering on anymore. Okay. Yeah, now it's not even powering on. I don't know. A second ago it worked. Y'all saw it work. So I don't know. Let me clear the CMOS out of it. Okay. Just going to use the power button so that we can see it power on that way. Yeah. I mean, it's messed up. I mean, the story is messed up. Yeah, I don't know. It's not turning on now. That's funny that we did get it turning on. So caps lock not working. Booting with D key shows display diagnostics. Yes, so I've definitely seen that. So on these machines, you can actually take the RAM out and you can go get a display test to run. I think you don't even need a CPU in there to get a display test to run. So it doesn't mean it's posting, doesn't mean it's working. It's definitely a weird one when you have it, you know, where it kind of seems like it's powering on and it's just kind of hanging. That's why I'm still thinking it might be a firmware issue. Is it staying at a constant current when you power it on? So if you turn it on, what current rating is it going to? Is it jumping up to, you know, 0.5, then going down to 0.2, and then jumping up to 1.2 amps, and then, you know, kind of moving around? Or is it just kind of going up to 0.78 and just sitting there? And does it charge the battery? That's the other thing too. Yes, thanks for the stream. It's time to clock out and go home. Yes, I'm giving it my all. I feel so guilty when I go back and watch these streams and I'm not very good at answering chat questions, and I'm like, you missed that answer. Why didn't you answer that? You know. So I want to do my best and at least make it fair for everyone. Wasn't the dual MOSFET for a current surge? It is. Yes, that's generally what they're for. So they have the inrush stuff. But I mean, this machine, and I don't know if you're talking about this machine or just any other machine, but this thing had multiple issues that we were working off with. Yeah, so now we have no signs of life on this thing. I think it's a bad CPU anyway because we got a 2.1 error, and the customer already approved another motherboard, and I already spent a bunch of time on it. Great stream, thank you. I feel like it was a failure of a stream, but I'm glad that people enjoyed it. Because I feel like I didn't really do anything. I'm delusional today. Infrared camera is thermal. Okay, so I think does everyone concur I should just return this other camera? Do we want to look at it one more time, or are you guys all on board with me on this? Okay, so we have, this is my old camera, which I really like the way it looks. It's a lot clearer to me to see, right? And JFix, you have the P3 now, right? Did you buy the P3? Because here's the P3. Oh, I can't get the plug back in. There we go. I'm going to plug in the P3. And here's my P3. And I'm going to try to focus it. We concur, stick with the fleur. That's a new shirt. We concur, stick with the fleur. Of course, it's not loading here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's so weird. So JFix, you bought this one, right? I thought you did. Or do you have the P2? See, it's just, I don't know. You put your P2 in the bin on accident and bought a P2 awaiting arrival. So here's the P3, but you know, it looks nice up close, but not far away. I just can't see it, you know. So yeah, you can see some detail here, but it's still like, and I know you can see stuff heating up better on this one, but it's just not as clear what I'm looking at. And so I just don't know if it gives it enough demonstration. Anyway, I'm going to return it. $300 is too much for what I feel like I'm getting out of that. So, yeah, the old camera is better, and it has 2 cameras on it. It's 2 for the price of 1. And this thing actually has a battery pack in it, and so I have to have a charger on the side when I'm using it. Oh, and that's why it ran out of batteries, because I left it on. Let me turn it off. You're a poet. Don't even know it. Gordon. Oh. I want to see that shirt on Wednesday. You want me to make sure this shirt? Or you want to see, oh, you want me to see this shirt? One of these shirts, yeah. The floor. Here, I'll make sure to clip that, yeah. I'll have to order it and get it overnighted to me. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up. That's it. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Appreciate every single, all the donations are going to these repairs, so it helps pay for the customers' repairs. I appreciate that. Our moderators work really, really hard, and I just can't thank you guys enough because it's hard for me to keep up with everything, and so I know you guys are working overtime helping out with that, and I'm glad that we do have you and this great community, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. I'll see you next Wednesday.